everybody. I'm Melissa.
I'm Ashley.
Yay, we did
Welcome
it again.
to Be the Change. Welcome to episode 8. This is going to be the episode where we are wrapping up the theme and the topic of forgiveness. And we're really going to be zoning in on practicing forgiveness today and what that looks like, or maybe some key steps, because I know we've talked about in previous episodes, like as Christians, a lot of times we talk about doing things, but not really the why or the how.
Right.
How do you do that?
Right.
So today we're going to focus a little bit more on the how, give some steps, some tricks and tips on following through or practicing forgiveness in your life if it's something that you are currently walking through.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you like to? I know you had.
Well, I had wrote down. Let's see. I feel like when you are holding on to resentment or whatever and you don't want to forgive somebody, it's like you have decided to be the victim. You know, and so you walk with this victim mentality that you really shouldn't, right?
Absolutely.
When somebody offends you, whatever the offense may be, it doesn't matter. There's a reason why it bothers you. Now, sure, did they lie to you? Okay, yeah. And that's wrong. Like, they shouldn't. They shouldn't do that. That's not nice, whatever. But it bothers you for a reason. And it's not because they lied to you. It's deeper than that. And it, chances are, falls down to your pride. Like, why would they treat me like that? Why would they do that to me? It's me, you know? So I have found, just through watching people and, you know, how they deal with certain things, it's less work to be the victim than it actually is to not be the victim. When you don't go further into it to see why it bothers you, and why you react the way you do, you're never going to move forward. Forgiving that person or anybody, like ever, yourself included. If you focus on why you reacted versus why they did whatever they did, you make your issue come to light and you can deal with it. Like, if you don't know why you responded that way, you can't fix it. Chances are you're wrong in your response too, I found. I didn't know that for a while.
Yeah.
And you end up behaving badly as well. It's a vicious cycle, really. And when you stay in that victim mentality, you're giving your power away to whoever it is that you're mad at or not forgiving. Like, take your power back, forgive that person, and move on. Easier said than done, yes. But it really does. You've got to focus on why. Ask yourself, why does that bother me? And it ultimately, if you keep peeling back the why, it's not what you think. And you're going to be surprised by why.
Yeah, and I know, so, you know, starting off this whole series of forgiveness, I was working through a situation that recently happened, and I was really, really hurt by that.
Yeah.
And you and I talked a lot about it personally, and I talked about some things on here. And, you know, even though it hasn't been that long, just the amount of time we've spent pouring into the topic of forgiveness, which has caused me to read more about forgiveness. And we've been going through this book, The Forgiving What You Can't Forget, and then reading more scripture on it. And like you said, asking the question, why? Yeah. And I can truly say, which I told you this when I came in this morning, like, I am truly sitting here today, and like, there are the feelings I had starting off with this, where, you know, when I had to drive past everything to get to your house, and all the anxious feelings and the emotions and the tears, like, that was very real for me. And it was very hurtful. And then now I'm kind of in the mindset, I'm like, you know, it is what it is. You know, it's just kind of like my mind is processing it so different. And lately my thought has been, well, you know, even though it happened at a place, it was not the whole place.
Right.
There was a core group of people, and that, and then I had to, like what you did, I had to like, or what you just said about peeling back the layers and asking the why and asking the questions. I spent a lot of time doing that.
Right.
And it was like, okay, so why, who, what? And I just kept going. And then I was like, why am I really bothered by this? Which I know you and I talked about goes back more to my past of me feeling like people never believe me.
Right.
And so there was more going on there. And then I realized, you know, well, those people essentially are not in my life anymore.
Right.
Of the recent situation.
Right.
And so then it's like, well, what good does it do me to sit around harboring all these feelings when I don't even know what's going on in their lives? They may not even think 2 seconds about me.
Yeah.
So then it's like, you know, I've really done a lot of unpacking.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
a lot of unpacking.
Yeah.
But then now it's just kind of like I have came to a place. Oh, I just spit everywhere. Sorry. But I have really came to a place where I have, for like the first time, and maybe it may not be the first time in my life, but as an adult, you know, you process things
Sure.
differently. But
Yeah.
this is like the first time in my adulthood that I have truly experienced the process of forgiveness and what it does to your heart and your soul, harboring feelings and then letting those feelings go.
Yeah.
Which I know we talked about in episode 7 of giving things to God, letting things go, and He knows our reactions and what we're going to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And then it's like I truly experienced that because I was harboring all this sadness and all these feelings and resentment and hurt. And it was like when I just let it all go, because ultimately it's a situation that's not in my control.
Right.
And so when I just let it go and truly forgave, which that's like a whole other process I went through, like kind of what we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And then it's like now it's truly, I'm at a point where I can think about those people and I can think about that place and I don't have any feelings towards it.
Right.
Not like I'm numb towards it, but just like
you, there's no animosity. You wish them well.
yeah, I'm just like, you know, y'all are doing your thing, I'm doing my thing, and you know, here we are. And
Yeah.
so it really does lift a whole burden off of you when you are
Yes.
practicing those steps of forgiveness. So yeah.
And here's the thing too. The next time it happens, because it will happen again, somebody somewhere is going to make you feel a way.
Yeah.
But you're going to be able to process it a whole lot faster.
Yes.
And get through it, and boom, 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 next. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole, the floodgate opens or
Yes.
something. And
It's like it's the testimonial wisdom. Like God's allowing you to go through things. Oh gosh, excuse me. Sorry,
Yeah.
this pregnancy, this baby,
It's
it's just not
all of
agreeing
it.
with my
Yeah.
stomach. But I feel like God, you know, like I've said this before, God allows you to go through things so you can experience things, so you can have a testimony and a story, not only to help other humans who are
Right.
also going through similar stages of life, but also to help yourself in the future.
Yes.
That's the whole point
Yes.
of wisdom. That's why
Yes.
we're learning and processing.
Yes. Yeah. And you'll notice when you're not over something, you know, whatever it may be, you'll notice it comes back around. If you don't deal with it,
Yeah.
it comes back around. Maybe not the same people, maybe not the same circumstance, but you will do it again. I want to pass the test.
Yeah.
I'm sick of taking the test. I have failed many times. I'm over that. I want to pass. And when you finally pass that test, it's amazing. Like I can't even, the peace, I don't know. It's like all new emotion that I had never felt before. Would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
I do.
Because it is very different, isn't it?
Yes.
Very good.
I
Wanted to
agree.
make sure it wasn't just me.
No, you're not
Because,
crazy.
you know,
And I just feel
Who
like,
knows?
so lately I heard somebody talking about something trivial like TV. And they mentioned the phrase good TV. And then that got me thinking, because I was like, oh, you know, sometimes we do get wrapped up in watching certain things or doing certain things that we believe are normal, because we're living in
Right.
a world that is highlighted more than the opposite side. So then I got to thinking too, like when we experience things in our lives like joy and peace and comfort, it's almost like we try and push it away because it's not normal.
Yes.
You know, like it's not.
Yes.
it's not the
it's not what you're
good
used
TV.
to
Yeah.
attracting.
Yeah, and so it's like, why are we not celebrating or leaning into that more?
Yeah.
And so just like this person who is promoting watching good TV, and it's like, well, why are we not promoting more of comfort and peace and joy and happiness and just all those fruits of the Spirit?
Yes.
Because honestly, what I hear more on social media, and I'm not saying these things aren't real because we've talked about it in previous episodes, and I've definitely 100% experienced them. But the majority of time when I'm reading stuff on social media, or just hearing people talk or podcast or whatever it is, I always hear anxiety, depression, negative.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, so when are we turning on the good TV?
Right.
You know, like that's just what that's
Right.
been my mindset lately. Is it's
Yeah.
like, it's okay if you feel that peace and that comfort, lean into that
Yes.
and be positive about it instead of immediately putting up shills and blocks and being
Right.
like, oh, this is weird. Why am I
Right.
feeling this way?
Yeah.
I just feel like that's our natural,
Yeah.
that's just kind of what we've morphed into.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes. And I know for me, when I was first experiencing the peace within, the peace in my mind, it was very foreign.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's something wrong with me. Something like I don't know, serious, guys, it's serious,
Yeah.
because it was so different. And I mean, it was like a switch. And I know that doesn't happen for everybody like that. I don't know. But all my life, the turbulence on the inside for as long as I can remember. And for when that finally shut off, I thought I died.
It's like, what is happening to me? Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
And it was kind of scary at first, I'm not going to lie. But it felt so much better. So, while it made me think something snapped for sure this time, it was a good different.
Yeah.
But it was scary
It just makes me sad when, like, we do think about, I do feel like positive things have been pushed to the back burner because people are attracted more, unfortunately, in our world we live in today, people are attracted more to the hurt and the anxiety and the feelings. That's why we watch reality TV.
Right.
That's why we, because it's intriguing. But then I'm like, why can we not make these other things just as intriguing?
Right.
And so.
And we should.
We should. And just like recently, I went to a convention for a company I do supplements with. And like I told you, the whole time it was so foreign to me.
Right.
Because the amount of positivity that was poured into people and the amount, like you would think 7,000 people being in this convention center.
Somebody was going to be fighting.
Yeah. Or like, like, I guess what was the most flabbergasting to me was the amount of God and praise and positivity that was just poured into everybody. And then it was like, you just think something that's like $1 billion company with all these people making a lot of money, you're going to get on stage, you're not going to hear anything of God. Like,
Right.
But then it was...
Because you don't.
Yeah. That is not normal.
Yeah.
But it was like the whole weekend, all I heard was positivity and praise, and none of this would have been possible without God. And I was like, this is weird.
That gives me
Why
chills.
did I think that though? Like, why did I think this
Because
is weird?
It's uncommon.
And that's why I'm like, I'm honestly, I'm at a point in my life, I am over that and I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
Why is talking about God and praising God weird?
And here's the thing, like you grew up in church, so for you to hear somebody praising God should have been like second nature for you. So to have it be a foreign thing blows my mind.
Yes, and then there were people around me. I kept hearing people saying like, "Amen." They were like, "I feel like I'm in church," and I'm like, "Where am I?" But see, that's what for my mindset. I am over that. I'm done with that. I'm not going to let that be anymore. I'm tired of thinking praising and worshiping God and giving Him praise is abnormal or weird.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too was because there was somebody who partnered with our company who is a big deal. He is number one in health and wellness in the whole world. Like, people who are in health and wellness know his name. And when he got on stage, the first thing he did was he like knelt down and gave praise to God.
Wow.
And the whole time he was speaking, he talked about how God doesn't make mistakes and our body is made of him. And I like that part to me, I was like, what is happening? This guy has a huge platform of people. Right. And so that's where I'm just kind of like, that's where I want my mindset to be. Yeah. Everything is going to be given in the glory glory of God.
That's
It is
right.
not weird. It is not abnormal to feel comfort and peace
Yes.
and security and praise.
Right.
And so, yeah,
Right.
that's my thing now is it's
Yeah.
like, I'm no longer going to think of that as weird nature.
Right. Right.
Because it's not weird. It's not weird.
Yeah, like I can't wrap my head around that there are people who do not know Jesus, who have never even heard.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute, what? What do you mean? Like that's still foreign to me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like everybody should have at least heard the
the
name,
name,
right?
yeah.
And apparently, no, that's not the case. Not everybody, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
To me, that's foreign, right? I don't know, but why don't people go around praise? I mean, everything you have is
It's
because of
him.
God.
Yep.
Like you'd have nothing without Him,
Absolutely.
and your plans won't be successful to their ultimate successful if He's not included.
Yes. And that was like, part of this convention is we were talking about, different supplements, things they were doing in your body, all the education piece to it.
Yeah.
But it was also, multiple people were talking about money and how a lot of people from the outside looking in are like, oh, you're making a lot of money. Money's bad. And then this goes back to the interpretation of the
No.
Bible. Money is not evil, but the love of
Right.
money is.
Right.
So then it's just,
Right.
I don't even know where I was going with that, but
Right.
it's just how people are perceiving and accepting
Yes.
things. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I just know with all of that, talking about steps of forgiveness and making things normal again,
Yes.
pushing the
Yeah.
positive. I
Yeah.
like that, pushing
Yeah,
the positive.
pushing the I like it.
So reading this book, The Forgiving What You Can't Forget, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have the book that we've been going through, perfectly fine. Highly recommend getting it
Yes.
though. So with the steps of practicing forgiveness, in chapter 14, the author actually gives different questions you can ask or different activities you can do. And one of the things that you could either do it yourself or she actually has a print off of like a journal entry that you could do for diving deeper into the word. And she actually gives a website here. So if you want to check it out, if you want to print them off and use this for your Bible study, but it's proverbs31.org/forgiveness. And it's a printable worksheet with a Bible study tool. And I wish I could show y'all, but it kind of, it's a little Bible study tool. But there's boxes, places for you to write. And then there's even like what I love about it is it really makes you think about what's truth and what's the enemy, because it says what God wants, what the enemy wants,
Yep.
what the theme is, what you're reading. So when you like take a Bible verse and you're really breaking it down, it really helps you analyze the truth.
Right.
And then it even has you think of the opposite of the truth. And then
Right.
it's like, I just love what she's saying in here about everything, but it also gives you steps to kind of go through about like the progress, like confessing, forgiveness. And I just feel like, just kind of how I said with us the past couple weeks talking about this, and when I got to this part, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what we've been doing.
Right.
Is talking through and decompressing everything, which is ultimately, in my opinion, made me forgive the situation
Yes.
1,000 times faster than if I was just doing it on my own. And so even if you are essentially doing this on your own because you are working through stuff, if you have tools that are helping you dig deeper into the word, ultimately I feel like it's going to help you get through your stage of
Yes.
forgiveness a whole lot faster.
Yep. It will.
So yeah, that's just kind of what I have to. Do you have any other tricks, tips, or so? I think praising the positive.
Yeah.
Always think positive.
Yeah.
Give credit where credit is due to God. Don't think it's weird.
Yep.
And then also, truly, I know people say read the Bible. Truly read the Bible.
Right.
Use tools to dig into the scripture more.
Yeah.
Think about what Satan is telling you, what the world is telling
Yeah.
you, versus
Yeah.
what is truth and what is God.
Yeah.
And yeah.
It just, you've got to focus. If you can think in the moment when you start to go unravel, if you can get a hold of yourself in that moment and find one good thing
Yes.
in your day, in your week, in your year, in your life, one good thing, be it your animal, your child, your husband, your friend, the sun, whatever, one good thing, And if you have to, just think of that for the moment and get over that funk, I'll call it.
I mean, perspective is everything.
Yeah.
Intentions
Yeah.
and mindset,
Yeah.
which we've talked about a lot. I even had it written in my journal for today. Switching your mindset is, and I know people say it's easier said than done. It is so easy to
Your
switch
mind,
your mind
is trainable.
Yes. And even like, okay, the situation that I just went through, you helped me look at it from a completely different perspective and light. And I constantly remind myself of how grateful I am. My life is so incredible right now at this moment. Even Austin, this like today, said, if you could just have the perfect day, like
Yeah.
ever in your whole life, what would it be?
Yeah.
And I literally looked at him and I started kind of going through a list. Well, you
Right.
know, I said, you know what? It would be what it is right now.
Wow.
And I'm like, really, it would be.
That's awesome.
Because, you know, in my life, I get to wake up. This
Yeah.
morning, I got to have some quiet time by myself. I
Yeah.
got to have some quiet time with Austin.
Yeah.
I got to cook an amazing breakfast for my
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
I got to take my kids to school. I get to talk to clients about their health because I'm so passionate about teaching others about health. And so it's like, I don't know if I would change anything in my life. Like, I really don't. And then I asked him the same question in return. I'm like, if you could have the perfect day.
Right.
But then it's just like, my life would not be what it is right now. Like a couple months ago, I probably would have changed something.
Yeah.
I would have been like, well, I would love to do this, this, this.
right.
But then today, I'm like, I really cannot think of something else that I would rather be doing. And so
Yeah.
then I have to remind myself with my perspective of none of this would have been possible if it wouldn't have been for that situation.
Correct.
And so then I think of what happened.
Ooh, that gives chills,
Well, it's
girl,
like
chills.
But
Woo.
I believe that you can
Yeah.
think that way about anything. You know,
Everything.
when Austin and I had our tough times a couple years ago, and it got really, really bad.
Yeah.
And then my mom giving me the advice of, you know, anybody can see something negative in somebody, but you
Yes.
got to look for the positive.
Yes.
So now there are literally sometimes Austin probably thinks I'm crazy that I just sit there and stare at him. And he's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "I'm just really
Trying to find the
checking you."
positive.
No. Oh gosh, making me choke on my hair. Woo, no. No, sometimes
Just
like
kidding.
sometimes I just sit and like stare at him while I'm thinking about the positives.
Sure.
Okay,
No, I
Okay.
get it.
But it really does. Like I try and do that with everything now.
Yeah.
And like sometimes, you know, when I'm home with my kids more, and I'm not gonna lie, having a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old.
Oh boy.
2 boys, it can be a little aggravating.
Woo.
But while they're fighting or doing whatever they are, if they're annoying
Yeah.
me, I still am so thankful and change my mindset to at least I'm here.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah,
because there's gonna
perspective-
come a day that you're gonna miss that.
I know.
I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
All the years until it happened, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
And then it's gone.
Wow.
So those are the things like I do feel like as somebody who has lived it and been there, done that, got that t-shirt,
Yeah.
changing your mindset is so
Yeah.
much easier than what people try and give it credit
yes,
for.
yes, it is 100%. You can actually teach an old dog new tricks.
Surprise.
Yeah, you know, if you're consistent with it, you
Yeah.
can. You've got to be consistent, as with anything.
Yes.
You know, I don't. Not that I would, but I'm not going to get to the gym today and look like a model tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go to the gym,
Consistency
but
is key.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
you've got to be consistent, and every time, you know, hold those thoughts captive.
Yes.
Every time, and it doesn't matter. So change it. You're looking at something not good. What do you have that's good? You got something. He's blessed you somehow.
Yes.
And if he hasn't, then I'm gonna have to call you a liar.
Yeah. And you know, at the minimal step is when you wake up in the morning, the very first thing I do before my feet touch the floor is when I open my eyes, I have made it a part of my day because I feel like it is so important. And this just pops into my head one day, and for a couple months now, I've just been putting it into practice. Is the very first thing is I thank God for giving me another breath in my lung
Yeah.
and another day. So if you
Yeah.
can't find anything else to be thankful for, and if your life is just completely falling apart, at least be thankful that you get to live another day, because
Yeah.
we're not guaranteed that. And just being able to open your eyes and just live is something to be thankful for enough. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I mean, and even when the days would come for me that, you know, I'd wake up and thanks a lot.
Yeah.
You're letting me breathe again. Because
could've
there
taken me
right,
now.
right. You know.
Yeah.
However, had he taken me then, I wouldn't be in the good place that I am
Right.
now when I get there. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It
Yeah.
would be different. But you got to swing it back around, and you've got to, I don't know.
Yeah, find a practice that helps you think positive. Practice positivity. But lucky for y'all, I guess, I don't know why I said lucky for y'all. Like, that makes us sound like we're special or something. Woo! Okay, we are wrapping up forgiveness. This is our last official forgiveness episode, but starting with episode 9, so our next episode, we're actually going to start with a new book.
Yeah.
And I
I
want to
have it
say,
right
it's Get
here.
Out of Your Head, right? Is what it,
Yep.
Yes, Get Out of Your Head
Jenny
by
Allen.
Jenny Allen. So we both already read this book.
Yep.
We're going to reread it together
Yep.
because I've read it
Yeah, I
like a
did
year or
all of
two
this
ago.
by myself.
Yeah,
you know,
so now we're gonna do it again.
I'm excited to have somebody to do
Yeah,
it with.
so the next little series that we're going
Mm-hmm.
to start is going to be kind of like another book study, but we're really going to focus on mindset.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like ultimately as women, this is where everything is centered around.
Yep.
Because we're such internal thinkers
Yeah.
and our minds are so complex that we really, and this is an incredible book. So if you want to get prepared for next
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
week, go ahead and order
You wanna
this.
do it with us? That'd be
Yeah,
great.
that
Yeah.
would be great. So yeah, this is our next book, and we're going to be talking a lot about mindset.
Yep.
So thank you all for going through this forgiveness journey with
Yes,
us.
thank
I
you.
hope you, out of all these episodes, you at least heard one thing that was your
Helped.
aha moment
Yeah.
or helped you. We really appreciate y'all listening,
Yeah.
staying tuned. So it means a lot to us. For sure. Is there anything else you'd like to say about forgiveness before?
No. It is something that is worth doing.
Absolutely.
And that's all I have for that. It is
100%.
100% worth doing.
Yep. If God can forgive us, then we can forgive others.
Oh, yes.
We're not better
Oh,
than
yes.
God.
No.
All right, absolutely. Well, thank y'all so much
Thank
for everything
you.
and all the love and support.
Yes.
And we will see y'all next time when we talk about mindset.
Yes.
So,
Bye.
Bye.